And welcome to the San Miguel International Challenge Club Country of Origin Rugby Tournament 1997, Singapore's own mini World Cup, as we come to the closing stages of the competition. This afternoon the first match will be Ireland, Muddy Murphy's Ireland versus Phillips Scotland. It will be Jason's Barbars versus WDA Wales. Those are the plate semi-finals, followed by First Pacific Davis Australia versus the New Zealand Milk Board All Blacks, and the other cup semi-final will be PDM International England versus the M1 Singapore Cavaliers. The first match will be kicking off in about 3 minutes time, and that will be Ireland versus Scotland. Muddy Murphy's Ireland versus Phillips Scotland. Here at Sentosa, this incredible venue for rugby, the first ever World Cup rugby style held in Singapore. Sponsors: First Pacific Davis, Jason's Barbarians, England PDM International, Japan Canon, New Zealand Milk Board, Wales Welsh Development Agency, Singapore Cavaliers sponsored by M1, Scotland sponsored by Philips Lighting, and the other sponsors are Kristen doing the food, Adams Ale and Rhoda. The whole event sponsored by San Miguel Breweries. But first, who's the fastest man in Singapore rugby? Air France sponsored a sprint to find out.
And they're away. It looks like Ankins Young's going to learn exactly what this is going happening. Ankins
In the Five Nations, these are usually firecrackers, but would this encounter be in the same mould? Scotland kick off, but straight away, Ireland look as if they mean business. But it's first blood to Scotland. Ireland come back with their best try of the whole tournament. It's 2-1 in Ireland's favour. Duncan Finlay's Scotland soon equalised the try count. Further pressure put Scotland 3-2 up on tries. Down comes the monsoon, and with it an Irish revival. Despite the late try, it's Scotland who go through. With their anthem, Wales are full of national pride, but the tipsters say it's the Barbars who have the talent. The Barbars take an early lead, 1 try up. Wales are giving away too many penalties. The Barbars score their second try. Try number 3 for the Barbars early in the second half. A consolation try in the dying moments restores national pride, but the Barbars go through. Now it's trophy time, and the New Zealand-Australia semi-final promises to be the closest encounter of the tournament.
What a wonderful atmosphere now. There's New Zealand now to the big this time. Try the second wing. Trying to control.
Australia's Kurt Weller scores first against the run of play. Australia begin to make mistakes as New Zealand put on the pressure. A try is New Zealand's reward. The men in black score a second try, and it begins to look ominous for Australia. but a momentary lack of concentration near their own line by New Zealand in the second half gets the Australians 2-2 on the try count. Joe Porteous sneaks through from a penalty. There are no prisoners taken here, but it's the Australians now putting on all the pressure. Here comes their third try. But the All Blacks aren't finished yet. An interception gives them their third try. It's 3 tries apiece. But Australian General Michael Patterson calls for a big 5 minutes. The try comes, and it's one that veteran Mark Greedy will dine out on for years. Australia go through. It's clear that the M1 Singapore Cavaliers, with national players in their team, look well drilled and fast enough to beat England.
Here it is, a groove slightly transformed, just a bit of a break from the norm. Just a little something to break the monotony of all that hardcore dance that has gotten to be a little bit out of control. It's cool to dance, but what about a groove that soothes and moves romance? Give me a soft serve mix, and if it ain't broke, then don't try to fix it. And think of the summers of the past, adjust the bass and let the alpine blast. Pop in my CD and let me run a rhyme and put your car on cruise and lay back, cause it's summertime.
A period of pressure deep inside the England 22 soon brings the first try for the Singapore Cavaliers.
School is out and there's sort of a buzz. But back then I didn't really know what it was. But now I see what happened is the way that people respond to summer madness. The weather is hot and girls are dressing less and checking out the fellas to tell them who's best.
The pressure on England continues. The Singapore Cavaliers are now 2 tries ahead.
Back in Philly, we be out in the park. A place called the Plateau is where everybody goes. Guys out hunting and girls doing likewise. Honking at the honey in front of you with the light eyes. She turned around to see what you beeping at. It's like the summer's a natural aphrodisiac. And with a pen and pad, I compose this rhyme to hit you and to get you equipped for the summertime.
but the bigger and stronger England forwards are beginning to make their mark. And pressure leads to their first try, which is one of their most spectacular scores of the whole tournament.
And as I think back, makes me wonder how the smell from a grill can spark up nostalgia. All the kids playing out front, little boys messing around, but then girls playing double dutch. While the DJ spinning a tune as the old folks dance at your family reunion. Then 6 o'clock rolls around. You just finished wiping your car down. It's time to cruise, so you go to the summertime hangout. It looks like a car show. Everybody come looking real fine, fresh from the barbershop, fly from the beauty salon. Every moment frontin' and maxin', chillin' in the car, they spend all day waxing, leaning to the side, but you can't speed through 2 miles an hour, so everybody sees you. There's an air of love and of happiness, and this is the Fresh Prince's new definition of summer madness.
Singapore are beginning to make mistakes, and it gives England a chance to score their second try and put them on level terms with the Singapore Cavaliers, and all this means a sudden death playoff. In the sudden death playoff, England continued to apply the pressure. In the sudden death playoff, England continued to apply pressure. But an error, a wild pass, gives Singapore Cavaliers the opportunity they're hoping for. And it's enough to put them in the final against Australia. The interval before the plate and trophy finals gives the crowd a chance to enjoy women's touch rugby, a fast-growing sport in Singapore and indeed all over the world.
And a
And so to the final of the plate competition. It's Scotland versus the Barbars. The Scottish attempt to attack out of defence, but an interception leads to the first Barbars try. It's a tense game with both sides probing and looking for gaps, and in the second half Scotland opened their scoring with a brilliant opportunist try. but the Barbars are making the most of their opportunities. Something's got to give, and it does. Their second try comes midway through the second half. Scotland continue to try to run the ball out of defence, but they're now under continuing pressure from a very strong Barbars pack. It looks as though it's only going to be a matter of time before the Barbars get their third try. A fourth and final try by the Barbars earns them the plate. The Barbars go down in history as the first plate winners of the first country of origin rugby tournament. This 1997 event, sponsored of course by San Miguel. But the Barbars have their own sponsors in Jason's, and there are mighty celebrations at the lifting of the plate. And so to the final of the San Miguel International Challenge Cup. And having beaten New Zealand, Australia are grimly determined to beat the M1 Singapore Cavaliers. As for the Cavaliers, well, they've been on a roll. Everything's been going just sweet for them all afternoon. But they really don't know what's about to hit them in this final. In fact, the whole world seems for them to have gone bananas. Within seconds, Australia opened the scoring. The Singapore Cavaliers are winning ball, but they're being pushed and shoved off everything. Australia are literally intimidating them into mistakes. A second try soon comes. The pattern continues. Singapore try to make something of meagre possession, but the Australian side is ruthless. It hunts them down. Very big tackles are coming from men like Mick Patterson. A third try must be in the offing. By now, the M1 Singapore Cavaliers are rattled right off their game. Even the bounce isn't going their way. Here the fourth try to Australia. The Singapore Cavaliers try to come back into the game. This is a brilliant move which should lead to a try, but a forward pass spoils it. In the second half, Australia continue their relentless pressure, putting in big tackles, driving forward, knocking the Singapore forwards backwards, and soon another try comes, this one from Joe Porteous.
Try this thing your way. I've seen a dying man too proud to beg, spit on his own grave. Was he too gone to say, or did you even know his name? Are you the one to blame? I got something to say. Hey God, tell me what the hell is going on. It seems like old God is gone. It keeps on getting harder hanging on. But hey, God, there's nothing no one to scream. These days you're living feelings daily. Oh, Cecilia, I'm down on my knees. I'm begging you, please, to come home. Cecilia, you're breaking my heart. You're shaking my confidence daily. Oh, Cecilia, I'm down on my knees. I'm begging you, please, to come home. Come on home. Making love in the afternoon with Cecilia up in my bedroom. Making love. I got up to wash my face. When I come back to bed, someone's taken my place. Cecilia, you're breaking my heart. You're shaking my confidence daily. Oh, Cecilia, I'm down on my knees. I'm begging you, please, to come home. Come on home.
Hey, you shoulda know you never treat me too right. Shoulda come home, you shouldn't stay out at night. Think you never knew you shouldn't treat me this way. And you know I wouldn't stray. And you shoulda know you coulda give me everything. Go down on your knee, you shoulda put on the ring. Out in the rain to me alone, you shoulda sing. And you know I wouldn't stray.
The game has been one of the toughest, one of the hardest these young Singaporeans have ever experienced. Much tougher perhaps than some Asian internationals. But they've weathered it bravely and have enough fire in their bellies to restore national pride with a brilliant try near the end of the game. And so well done, Australia, winners of the San Miguel International Challenge Cup, Country of Origin Rugby Tournament in 1997. But first, the Barbars take the plate. Singapore international Terence Koo takes the runners-up medals on behalf of his team. But the real champagne, or certainly most of it, is reserved for Australia. A pat on the back there from Johnny Walker of San Miguel. And the cup is, well, maybe not filled to overflowing, but it is being filled, and Joe Porteous holds it aloft. And so ends the first Country of Origin rugby tournament, hosted by Wanderers RFC. Well done, boys.